Hello, everybody. I'm Candice, and if you are new here, I know we've got some new members in the group this week, so just want to welcome you. This is our weekly training that we do, weekly live that I do. Coach Carol also does one tomorrow. But today we're going to get into talking about workouts and specifically how to make sure that your workouts are working for you versus against you. Now, I know a lot of times we can fall into just going back to the same things over and over again. It's super easy to do when you're busy, when you have a lot of things on your plate, when you just go to what's comfortable, right? And while it's great to be moving, sometimes that's not going to give you the best results or the best bang for your buck, if you will. And so I'm going to go through today kind of telling you exactly what you need to look for, what you should think about with your workouts, and to ensure that you are really doing the right things for you, for your goals, for your time, so that you can get to where you want to be. So, once again, my name is Candice, and just a little bit about myself. I am a mom, wife. I've been a personal trainer for over 10 years now, working with women, really helping them learn how to work out in the right ways to help support their body reach their goals and not add unwanted stress. Because let's be real, most of you who are in here, if you're watching this, you are probably a very busy woman. You have a lot going on and you probably have a lot of stress along with that, right? And that's something that we have to account for with our workouts. And that's really what I help clients do with nutrition, workouts, all of that kind of stuff. So, with that said, I myself have been down the road of working out too hard, doing too much, and hurting my progress and it results in results in a sense. I think I tried to combine like three words there. So what I mean by that, or when I did that, essentially when I was younger, I competed. I was doing bodybuilding competitions and bikini, NPC, all of that. Did that for a couple years. And as a result, the training that I was doing, yeah, I lost weight. I got really, really skinny. But over time, I never took time off. I never accounted for the fact that I was waking up super early. Yes, I was in my 20s, so I probably handled it a lot better. But down the road, I ended up with thyroid problems. My metabolism drastically slowed. I lost my hair or started losing hair. I was just cold all the time, just different things hormonally that really that this it caused. And I struggled with infertility for a while in a sense where I was never ovulating and could not get a period. I didn't have my period for years, and none of that is good, especially when you're in your 20s or 30s. So, with that, over time, learning the right way to take care of myself, the right way to work out, I was able to get pregnant. I have a 5 month old now, and I have taken what I've learned over the years and really kind of implemented it into what I do now and helping others who you may not be going through the exact same thing, but once you get to a place, especially in your 30s and 40s, where you are struggling to lose weight doing the same things that you used to do, a lot of times it comes down to your approach and just needing to make some changes to that. And you can get those results again. Um, I just had a client this week who checked in who lost a lot of inches in the first couple weeks, and she was overwhelmed because she was used to doing really high intense boot camp style workouts. And she was kind of stuck. She would do them 6 days a week and wasn't getting any results. We tweaked her workouts. She started focusing on eating better, not perfect, but better in a sense, prioritizing protein and doing more strength training, meaning lifting and resting versus just high intensity stuff. And she lost about 8 inches within the first 4 weeks. So it's just knowing what to do can make a big difference. That's my point right there. So with that, I want to get into it. I don't want to waste your time today. So let's dive in. So the first thing that you have to know when you are really trying to like I mentioned before, we tend to go back to the things that we know or the things that worked in the past or what's easy, what we have time for, what we know how to do. And while it's great to get movement in, it's great to do something versus nothing. When you're really trying to reach a specific goal, you have to be clear about what that goal is. And so taking a moment, and it's the end of the year right now, might not be when you're watching this, but it is, we've got about 2 months left till the new year. And the new year is always a time when people come in super strong, you want to lose weight, you're going to do all the things right, but you set these unrealistic goals for yourself and you start working towards something that ultimately is almost impossible. And I hate to say that, but you're not taking into account your life, like what you're saying that you're going to work out 6 days a week for an hour and a half every day. But you also have 3 kids, you work full time, you have carpool, you have sports that they're in. And there's just, unless you're waking up at 4 a.m. every morning to work out, there's just no way to that it's going to happen. And that is a phase of life that you're in now. That doesn't mean it's always going to be that way, but you're setting yourself up to fail when you don't account for those things. And we have to be realistic if we really want to get success in our fitness and our life and our health. We have to take those things into account. And especially if you are someone who is, yes, you want to lose weight, yes, you want to get leaner, you want to get stronger, but you also want to feel better overall. You want to make improvements so you're not having to deal with this again down the road. You want to feel good for life. And so you're taking that chance now, or you're focusing on that now, while setting yourself up to fail by saying, I'm going to do all of this many days, and then the first week you get 2 days in, the next week you only get one, the next week you get one, next week you get one, and then you're like, I just can't do this, and then you give up. I think, wouldn't it be a little bit better if you took those things into account, laid out a plan that actually was achievable with your life right now, and stuck with that? It would make a difference. So you've got to think about what your overall goals are. And so if your goals are to lose weight, yes, you need to be doing certain things in your workouts to make sure that you are going towards that. If you are wanting to lose weight and you are struggling to eat, if you don't eat enough, if you are eating way too much, if you're not taking the nutrition piece into account, you've got to think about that too. Just because at this point in your life, you've probably done some fad diets, you've probably done things in the past where you could drop weight quickly, but then you gained it back. Wouldn't it be nice to just never have to do that again, to lose the weight and keep it off? Most women and or where you're at, more than likely, you want that. You don't want to go through the cycle of lose gain, lose gain, lose gain over and over again. And if you don't take certain things into account, as far as with your nutrition as well as your workouts, then you will just end up in that cycle again. And that's what I want to kind of help you with today, is how to ensure that you don't end up there again, that you can get results and keep them. So thinking about what your ultimate goals are. So if your goal is, maybe you do have something short term that you want to lose a lot of weight for, well then, I mean, you could go a different approach. But if it's more you want to lose weight, you want to keep it off, you want to get stronger, you want to feel better, you want to get leaner, then you've got to include strength training. You've got to think about that in your goals. You've got to realize that's going for 2 mile runs every day is not the way to get that lasting weight loss. You can absolutely still run, you can do cardio, but that can't be what your focus is in regards to losing weight. That can be in addition to, but you've got to be doing things to help your metabolism. Whereas if you are just running all the time, you're going to strip away muscle mass, which is only going to slow your metabolism down. Um, so you've got to take those things into account. Stress. What, like I mentioned, are you postpartum? Did you recently have a baby? Where in your life are you with your children? All of that stuff matters into how a program should be laid out. Obviously, if you have a lot on your plate, then like I mentioned, don't have 6 days a week of workouts. If you can get 2 days a weekend and you can do that consistently, then do that and focus on things that are going to build your metabolism up, that are going to help you. And then every day, if you can go for a walk or you have time to do something small here and there, that can be added in too, and that can help you, because we want to support, when you want these lasting results, you have to do things that are going to support your metabolism. And that goes, what is that? That looks like strength training, and legit strength training, not Orange Theory. Orange Theory is not strength training. I can go into that another day. But you could do that once or twice a week and get a lot of results when done consistently. Getting enough sleep, eating enough, focusing on protein, just moving your body, going for more walks, doing things that aren't going to overly tax your body when you're in a stressed state or phase of your life. Um, so, the importance of strength training, let's dive into that for a second. So, strength training obviously is where you are working to get stronger, making your muscles stronger. They are made stronger when you add resistance to them, you put them under a sort of pressure or tension, so they have to break down a little bit and then rebuild. Now, when you do that, that is a stress to your body, but it can be a positive stress as long as you are doing it in appropriate doses and you're taking the time to recover in between, and that you are eating protein. You're eating enough food to help your body rebuild that muscle mass. Because when you're under eating, which is another thing, then your body will not rebuild that muscle mass as it should. And it can be even more taxing. So, got to make sure you're eating enough. Strength training really should be the foundation of most, I say the word most, but most women workout plans when they're working to get stronger, healthier, leaner, and not gain the weight back, because that's the best way to promote muscle gain, to promote muscle maintenance, and for you to see results long term, increase your metabolism, right? So that's what we want. Um, and as you get older too, you've also got to think about, so you want to be stronger, you want to feel better, but also women especially, we have higher rates of osteopenia, things like that, that can, as you get older, just increase more and more. Yes, some of that is hormonal, but also the more muscle mass you have, the stronger your bones will be, because muscle strengthens your bones. So we want that, and especially longevity wise, because muscle mass too, once you build it, yes, you can lose it, but it's that much easier to build back down the road. And as long as you're eating enough day to day, then you shouldn't lose that muscle mass unless you are just in a super stress phase of your life. Um, so you've got to pay attention to that, and strength training helps with that. It helps with our stress response. It helps kind of offset that cortisol response in a sense where when you are focusing, when your metabolism is increasing, when it's faster, then your hormones are going to be more regulated, immune function is going to be better, whereas that stress response can be a little easier tolerated within your body, as you will. So insulin resistance, all of that kind of stuff is in a will be pushed out almost. So one of the best, a lot of people don't realize that more muscle you have, it can really help play a role in making you more insulin sensitive versus that insulin resistant place that a lot of us end up at due to stress, due to just our lifestyles in a sense that happen over time. So you've got to think about that. And when it comes to your goals, again, including some sort of strength training in your routine is a great place to start, or a great thing to focus on. And also, strength training, depending on where your fitness level is, it doesn't mean that you're out there lifting barbells, super heavy weight. If you are a newbie, if you've just started out, you've never strength trained before, then just doing body weight stuff is going to work for a little while for you. Adding in some bands, doing lightweight stuff will work for a little while. You've always got to progress from there once your body gets adapted to it. But as long as you're progressing and getting stronger and realizing that, then you're in a good place. So, nutrition, strength training, nutrition, those two things are big time keys in getting results with a quality workout program. So, you need to think about that. You can't just do the workouts and expect to get amazing results if you're eating like crap, or you're not eating enough, or you just don't even think about what's going in your mouth in a sense. You need to pay attention to it. Now, that does not mean that you need to be perfect unless you're competing for some bodybuilding thing that most women just don't recommend it. Um, you need to pay attention to that. You need to pay attention just to the quality. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, doesn't mean you can never drink, doesn't mean you can't have sweets. just the majority of the time, you are focusing on eating more whole foods and you're prioritizing protein at every meal. Why is protein so important? Because again, it goes in that big support with muscle mass, but also so does carbohydrates and so does healthy fats. All of that together, when you're eating good, it can help offset and lower inflammation, which can help you recover better, which means your muscles and everything else feel better so you can work out. You get more out of your workouts, you get more recovery, and your body is going to show more results, meaning it'll let go of body fat. Um, because that's another thing. The higher your stress response, the more your body's going to hold on to body fat because it thinks it needs to. I like to say our body thinks of body fat as an insurance policy. So you want to think about that balanced diet. I say about that 80-20 rule is really good to follow. So 80% of the time you're focusing on having meals throughout the day that have protein, healthy fats, complex carbs. What are some good proteins? I mean, if you eat animal protein, then some of the best ones are actually meat. So ground beef, steak, those things are complete proteins. But then also fish, chicken, turkey, all of that is great. Um, Obviously, everything costs an arm and a leg now. So if you can't get organic, it's okay. But the cleaner, the better. Eggs are great. Eggs have a lot of nutrients in them. Because the thing with whole foods also is because we don't want to be nutrient deficient, because that's a whole other ball game of just not being able to get optimal results because we're lacking certain nutrients or our body doesn't convert things properly, or it's increasing stress because again something isn't converting properly, because we have a lot of stuff happening inside of us all the time that we have no idea is even going on. So we want to eat more nutrient dense foods, whole foods, things that come from the earth in a sense. So veggies, again, proteins. If you're vegetarian or vegan, that is fine. Just make sure that you're supplementing in some way. If it's a vegan protein shake or collagen, things like that can go a long way. So we want to think about whole foods and emphasizing protein for muscle recovery and for metabolism function. So, for example, pre and post workout, you hear a lot about pre and post workout nutrition. The biggest thing is that you're not, when you're trying to get these type of results with your workouts, and making sure that you're optimizing everything, you want to make sure that you're not going in with really low blood sugar. So having some carbohydrates um, within an hour beforehand. So if you're waking out and working out really early in the morning, having something like maybe a half a banana, um, half an apple, third of apple, something on your stomach just to help your body pull some energy from that. So it's not taxing everything as you go work out first thing in the morning when you down your coffee. I like to say too, you could add some collagen, add some protein to your coffee as you're going out the door, and that could give you something as well. At least you're having something of substance in your body to go pull energy from. So you could also do a third of a protein bar or half a protein bar, because a lot of times women or clients will say they don't like eating in the morning. Well, I hate to tell you, but if you're not hungry in the morning, maybe not right when you wake up, but within the first hour of waking, if you're not hungry, that's saying that your hunger hormones are, there's something off there, which can be part of the problem as to why you're not getting these results. So you want to be hungry. That means your metabolism, your hunger hormones are optimized and doing their job. Um, During the day, eating balanced meals. So again, thinking healthy fats, complex carbs, protein. Some complex carbs ideas are sweet potatoes. You can do rice, quinoa, things like that. Vegetables are definitely a form of complex carbs, but you still want something a little more with a little more substance. Whole grains, oats, all of those are great options. Healthy fats, think avocado, olive oil. Even if you're just eating a salad, but you're adding in some olive oil or avocado oil to your dressing, or making a dressing with those things, or even cooking with those things, those that all counts. So think about that, adding some seeds, maybe some chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, stuff like that can also help benefit that overall fat intake, healthy fat intake. Post workout, you can have a protein shake. You can have, a lot of times you need to make sure that you're having some sort of carb as well to help with blood sugar and to help with fueling repair with your muscles. But protein is definitely the priority there. So you can even, I mean, if you work out at 5 o'clock and you eat dinner at 6:30, that's fine. Just eat your dinner. You don't have to have something right after. There's been varying research back and forth on if having an anabolic window, so to speak, where you have to eat within an hour, but that's not necessarily, from what new studies are showing, that's not necessarily the case. Like, as long as you eat soon, you'll be fine. As long as you're eating enough protein throughout the day, you'll be good. But just making sure that meal, that next meal, does have high protein, complex carbs, healthy fats. And again, this does not have to be 24/7. You can have some days or some meals that are not perfect. But if you do this most of the time, you're going to get better results because your body's going to know what to do with all this food, and it's going to repay you because you're giving it the nutrients that it needs. Um, then consistency. So going back to that overall goal setting piece and thinking about how your workouts should look, you want to be consistent. Obviously, if you can't work out every day of the week, that's okay. But if you can do 2 or 3 days a week consistently, even if they're 30-minute workouts, that's going to help you. That is going to give you those results that last because you're making this part of your lifestyle. Whereas if you do something for a month and then stop, your results are going to backfire, right? So you want to find things that work for you with your schedule, with things like that. And it's so important to really focus and think about that when you are trying a new workout plan or you're setting goals and thinking in that way. You want to be consistent. If you are setting yourself up to fail, also, like if you hate running and you're like, I'm going to run every workout, I mean, that's just not going, you're not going to stick with that, right? So you've got to think about that. Yes, challenging yourself is important, but not in a sense to where you're just not going to show up for anything. So maybe you like spin, so do a spin class. Again, cardio is not the focus, but you can do it here and there, right? So you want to focus on, maybe you need to work out with a friend, or you need to have that accountability in some way, shape, or form to make you show up for the gym. So make sure you're planning that and taking that into account when you're planning your workouts, planning goals. Um, and then what really matters too is personalization and taking into account your adaptation of your body, how your body adapts to things. So if you are brand new to working out, then you don't need to go do really, really intense stuff and risk injuring yourself. You need to take that into account, start slow and build up. You need to think about where you're at as far as with your strength. If you are someone who has been working out for a while, have, are you someone who could go a little heavier? Have you been using the same weights for squats for the past 6 months? Those sort of things, you've got to think about that. Maybe you need to really focus on going through a heavy phase, maybe 5 by 5. Maybe you need to focus on going more high reps because you work out in that low rep range all the time. Changing it up every 4 to 6 weeks is kind of that sweet spot to make sure that your body does not adapt and where you stop seeing results. You want to keep things progressing over time, but not in a way that you're changing up your workouts every single time because you're not going to get stronger in certain movements like we want. So I like to say a great way to start out is just focus on practicing, in a sense, squats, deadlifts, push ups if you're not good at push ups, or bench press, and a dumbbell press or shoulder press. Get strong in those movements, do them really well, feel the right muscles working, and then progress from there. And then you can add in other things. But those compound movements, those basics, are things that we also do every day. So it's going to help with injury prevention too, which is going to help you work out longer, that consistency, because you're not getting injured, right? So those are all things to think about. And progress. Like I said, if you go through a phase where you're focusing on higher reps, less rounds, whatever, where you're obviously not going to be lifting as heavy, then maybe go into a heavy phase after that for a couple weeks and really focus on getting that weight up in a safe way, of course, but thinking of it in that sense. And that's really what I think makes such a difference with like what I do, with what other coaches do, is that we take all these things into account. I know I just give you a ton of stuff and that can be super overwhelming, right? So it's hard to sometimes sit down and like organize your thoughts and like, okay, is this what when I go to the gym, this is what I need to do. Because a lot of times too, when we don't have a plan in front of us, we're going to go, if we go to the gym, we're just going to, again, go back to what we know and just do that, which again is better than nothing, but you're not going to get those optimal results when you are not progressing in the appropriate ways and doing the right things for your specific situation right now. And that, again, is what really makes a difference with like what I do with clients, what we do with clients with the CCS metabolic fat loss method. Whether you're postnatal, whether you are perimenopausal, or you are in your late 20s, early 30s, wherever you are, whatever you have going on, those things should be accounted for. And we take the guesswork out of that for you, and we help you with the nutrition, the workouts, all of that to make sure that you are consistent, you show up, you get the results that you want, and you don't have to stress about what you're doing. Is it right? Is it wrong for you? That sort of thing. And hopefully you enjoy it too, right? So you keep doing it. But that's what really makes a big difference. It's that understanding stress piece. I think that a lot of us, as we get older, we don't recognize that we need to think about that. And we do. So with that said, I know that I just gave you, like I said, a lot of information. So let's kind of bring it back a little bit, give you some key takeaways, and then kind of wrap things up. Cool. So the biggest thing, again, you want to think about defining clear goals for yourself and taking into account what you have going on in your life. How realistic is it for you to get this amount of workouts in, and what should those workouts look like to get to your goals? So think about that. If it is you're wanting to get stronger, leaner, feel better just over time and not have to worry about losing and gaining, then you need to add in some strength training. You need to make sure you're eating enough. You need to make sure that you're consistent and you're progressing in the right way, and that you're showing up for these things. And strength training should be included. I don't care who you are, more than likely you need some strength training in your life, even if it's once a week, doing a full body workout. Again, focusing on those basics, squats, push-ups, lunges, deadlifts, or hinging, overhead press. Those things are going to make you stronger and make you better practice them, get stronger in them, progress with the weight over time. And again, strength training is going to help your bones as well, which we all need as we get older. Thinking about your nutrition, so taking that into account as well. That is part of a workout program. I don't care who you are. If you are wanting to get results of any sort, you have to take nutrition into account. Does not have to be perfect, but you need to be prioritizing protein, number one. Number two, making sure that you're eating some healthy fats, and some healthy fats and some complex carbs in the mix, and doing that a few times a day. Doing that 80% of the time, and you will start to see some positive changes. I can almost guarantee that. So again, making sure you're protein, eating whole foods 80% of the time, working towards that. Staying consistent and keeping that motivation. So making sure that you're doing things that you are going to show up for, things that you are not setting yourself up to fail in that way, and getting your mindset in the right place. So recognizing your wins, recognizing when you make progress, when you get stronger, all of that stuff. Because we want to keep showing up, right? Because that lifestyle change is the thing that is going to make the longest lasting difference. And then personalization and adaptation. So thinking about how these goals, all of this stuff is working toward for you, how your workouts are structured for you. Do you need to have someone help you? Do you need someone to show up for, or someone there to motivate you, a workout buddy or a coach or something like that? Are you paying attention to how you're progressing? Are you paying attention to how your body feels? Are you giving yourself enough recovery time? Are you accounting for all of those things? Yes, you have your goals, you have these things that you're working towards, but are your workouts taking you there? And if not, maybe you need to ask for some help. And with that, I do want to say that with it being the end of the year, it's a good time to really kind of approach that and think about what you can do now to get ahead and not wait till January 1st, and just get things going now throughout the holidays, getting in a good place to make sure that you set yourself up for success and that you get a head start on the new year. So, and with that, we are offering 30 days of our program to some women. So if you're interested in that, so you can kind of have a trial. Typically we do 3 or 6 month programs with this, but this way we've never done just 30 days, but you can start to see that progress. You can see what the difference can be for you. So if you are, and you can navigate the holidays and end up in a better place come January 1st, right? So if you're interested in that, just DM me or drop a comment below and let me know. Just say that you're interested and I will reach out. But other than that, we have a ton of resources as well that can help with you kind of getting your workouts going in the right place, how to strength train properly, all of that. If you have any questions or want some of those, just drop a comment below as well and let us know, and we will get those for you. So I hope you learned something today. I know this was a longer one, but yeah, hope you have a great rest of your week. I'm Candice, and I will catch you next time.